Money is a mindset thing, but it also is a spiritual thing. I want you guys to think about this, and I want you to go study. Where did we start focusing on lack? Lack, L-A-C-K. So I want you to go study for yourself, but there was always more than enough for us. And I believe the enemy has allowed us to believe that we can only have just enough. And God made it very clear that you have more than enough. So it's a couple things that you have to think about if you want to start building a legacy to real estate, which all of us want to do, but oftentimes we have humps that we have to get over. And the humps that we have to get over is start understanding what are the lies and the false beliefs we have about money. Why, as realtors, do we not own the very thing that we sell? Because we believe it's only enough for the people we're selling it to, but it's not good enough for us. Now, we may not say that out loud, but subconsciously we're saying that somewhere in our own minds. So often we're focusing on how do you do this? How do you do that? When you commit and understand why you're doing something, everything else is going to fall in place.
So a lot of the story for me and my wife is that our very first house was the first real estate we ever purchased. We had all the doubts, all the fears about who we were, the color of our skin, just like everything we thought was against it. But when we got past it, and then we said, "Oh, that wasn't that bad." Like we actually we bought our first property. It started opening up our minds. So even if you're at that point, you just said, "Boy, we just want to get our first home, and I want your team to be able to help us." Great, my credit sucked. Okay, great, but guess what? You have to start somewhere, because here's what's going to happen. Time is going to pass and you haven't made that plan. And most of the time when people make plans, desires for the plans you have don't leave. Everyone gets on this high in the beginning of the year. And what happens is this: you don't have the community, you don't have the right people that's going to help you and uphold you to make sure that you're doing the necessary thing. And so you say, "Hey, I want to find a way to be able to make $5,000 a month passively. And I don't know if I can do it all this year. Maybe I can do 1,000. Maybe I can do 2,000. Maybe as you're a part of our community, we have shown you how you can do that."
All right. So it's 5K.
And when I set that goal, it was something that was very nerve-wracking, because it's like, I know what to do right now. Clock in, I have to work X amount of hours. If I work, this amount of hours, think about it, you always think like, if I work overtime, or like for me, if I sell more houses, or if I sell a more of a product, then I can be able to get to X amount that much. Now that's definitely good in the business. And if you're growing a business and you're saying, "This is what I want to do," like, and also what you have to do is be willing to say, "Then what do I have to do in order that I get there?" And it takes, like what I'm telling you, it takes like so much of you to have faith on that vision. How many, like oftentimes, like I had prayed for that. And I remember days like I started getting into the weeds of it. I started analyzing deals. I started making offers on deals. And, you know, then I asked a question like, did I make a good deal? Did I make a bad deal? And like some of that understanding, like having your due diligence in place, is super important. That's super important. But it also is something that you have to be willing to say, "I'm doing this. I'm doing it." Like I've got confirmation. Like you said, like you can't have doubt, but you have to have faith. With this, you may ask the question like, can I live on one side and invest on the side? That's very possible. You got somebody young who wants to be able to do this. Very possible they can be able to do that. You don't, this first loan, you don't have to buy a home. You can buy. Main thing with this is understanding how to be able to find the banks that have this. And, in our coaching courses, we have that as well, and we have contacts. And sometimes you just go to your local bank. Like if you go to your local bank and just say, "Hey, I want to do an improvement loan. Can you help me with that?" Most likely they can. All right. So that is key to keep that in mind. Keep that in mind when it comes to excellence. And I want you to know is that you need the homework for this is, now that we have our freedom number, that we have our cash flow goal. Now I need you to find like what strategy are you gonna have to find to finance. If you're buying your first home, like sometimes you probably need to get qualified for a grant, and that means enrolling in a credible source. This is what I need to go do on my weekly basis, like analyzing my properties for the week. I need to put in my offers. Like, and when you start doing the necessary things, like that's when you start reaping the rewards. But a lot of this is just all mental work. And so that's why I'm spending more time speaking to you, talking to you, getting you to take action and like writing things down, because like this is forcing you, this homework that I have you do, it's forcing you to do something and say, "Hey, I'm committed. I said I was going to do this. I invested in this. I made this investment. So part of me making this investment said I need to follow through with what I said I'm going to do. Right? James 1, 5 through 8, right? I'm not going to be double-minded in my ways, because being double-minded is allowing your fears, the doubts, the uncertainty to creep in. And that's the whole point of being a part of a community. That's the whole point of being a part of people who've been through where you're at, who's committed, who wants to get to where you're at. And so press in, so in here, like, I want you to make a decision. Like, are you going to be a part of our community? Or are you going to find a community that is going to help you, that's going to walk with you, that's going to teach you, that's going to show you, that it's going to be available via call? Because the thing that I've realized is my biggest goal is to create a setting that people can be able to go and they say, hey, I'm at property 2. I need help analyzing this deal. Or I need help funding this deal. I want to create a JV with somebody in this deal. Because guess what? It's more deals out there than you can be able to grab. And sometimes it's more funding opportunities out there than you can be able to grab. Because you're going to say, guess what, Jabari? This is going to give me time freedom. Time freedom meaning I can be with who I want to be with, my family, my loved ones, and not think about, okay, how are we going to get this bill paid? Maybe they love sports and you want to spend time with them, but you can't because you always have to work. Or maybe you want to do that with your grandkids, and so you want to put yourself in a position so you can be able to do that more. What are the travel sports teams that maybe you want to go sit front row at the Houston Rockets? Or LA, whoever your team is, or maybe you want to be able to go out of country. Like, I really want you to be able to explore that, because what happened is once we start reaching this number and we go over here and say, hey, now I need to identify what it's going to take, the investments, the time commitment, and guess what? Your efforts is more meaningful. You may say, hey, what if it takes me, 2 years to 3 years to hit this number? Then from there, this probably takes me 5 years. And to be honest with you, probably 4 years. And, if you buckle down and really do what is needed, you can do all this in a short time frame. When we eliminate distractions, when we eliminate excuses, when we eliminate like the person of unbecoming of who we need to be, because it's the unbecoming that lets us get to the results that we have and we want to be able to experience. Okay. So I want you to think about this, and I want you to go look at the trip. Like, I want you to go in and say, all right, man, this trip right here, round trip for me and my family, is $2,000. All right. The thought of being able to do that, maybe it's $2,000 to $5,000. Why? Because maybe I got 4 kids and, I'm good. If we just can be able to all get on a plane and be able to do this by my kid turning 10, and you have those milestones, like, because I know if they get to see these things or experience this type of trip before they're 10, I know they can see much more as they get older. I know that was happening for me, right? Travel team, travel out of country. How much did that cost? And even a home. So like, so I'm holding a class where I'm going to hold 10 people accountable. I'm going to and basically hold your hand and give you everything that we've done. And I'm going to say, go execute. And what I want you guys to do is say, hey, Jabari, I want to raise my hand. I'm interested in that. You can make sure you visit my link in my bio, or you can send me a DM, or obviously you can be able to register on the link below, cashflowfridayagent.com.